With Ruan Mei's banner coming very soon, of course it's time to start with the series that I always talk about when it comes to the brand new characters coming into the patch, or the next half of the patch, which is going to be the things that you should consider before Ruan Mei comes out or is on her banner, because there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to Ruan Mei and her viability, how useful she's going to be, and also all the external factors like all the banners that we have surrounding her, because we have a lot of information in regards to all the characters that are going to be coming out after, all the characters are going to be currently in this patch right now in version 1.5. There's just a lot to talk about. There's a lot to look over when it comes to her and her side of the patch, because yes, I don't really mention this in a lot of my other videos, but the first half of the patch is the hardest to summon on, just because you don't have as much information as the second half characters. Right now with Argenti and Silverwolf being out, we already know who the characters are for 1.6. We already know what they do and how they do it, and we also even know the drip marketed characters for 2.0 and Penacani. So yeah, knowing that we are still in version 1.5, looking at Argenti, looking at Silverwolf, there is a fat ton of characters that we have at our disposal to look at and see if we want to summon on them instead. Ruan Mei really doesn't get that. We don't have a stream to look at. We don't have drip marketed characters to look at to see if we want to summon on them or not. It's kind of a situation where you're going to be put in where if you're not going to summon for her, you're just not, and if you are, you are. That's the only problem with the first half of the banners. But let's go ahead and start talking about Ruan Mei, what she does very quickly, why she's so amazing, why is she so broken, and then we're going to go into all the banners around her and rank her priority and rank how amazing in value she's going to be when it comes to her 4 stars, her herself, and all the things included. So talking about Ruan Mei is going to be our first 5-star limited harmony character, and this is a very big deal because for the most part we've all been using Bronya for the longest amount of time if you do have her, and if you haven't, this is going to be the first 5-star that you can actually put your hands on. That is going to be a harmony character, and she does not disappoint by any mean or fashion, because as a harmony character, we all know how amazing they are, how broken they are, especially with all the 4 stars that we have that are absolutely cracked out. With Bronya being an absolute craziness of a unit that she is, Ruan Mei is still setting that bar and setting it pretty high, because with Ruan Mei, we are going to be getting a bunch of AoE buffs that are going to be universally boosting all the characters in the game. I don't think, from what we know so far, that there are going to be any characters that are not going to gain a boost from Ruan Mei. Yes, some teams may get a better composition with a other side of set units, but with Ruan Mei, she can be put on any team just like Bronya and be able to fulfill a lot and get it done. So with Ruan Mei, she is going to be providing a fat ton of buffs. One of her buffs is going to be coming from her skill, which is going to be weakness break efficiency. We have talked about this in one of her other videos, and with weakness break efficiency, that leads to a lot more in terms of break effect. That leads into a lot more breaks coming into the games. Building your break effect units, building certain units out for dots, this is going to be some insane value for sure. And not only that, she is going to be given a damage increase within the skill, which is overall just insane. Bronya does the same thing, so that is a good thing that they're comparing the two and sharing some similarities with each other, because that is just an amazing thing to have. That is not attack scaling, not HP scaling, not defense scaling. It's just overall universal damage, and that's going to help absolutely everyone. Now, when you're in your ultimate, this is where it gets a little bit insane. You are going to be getting all penetration for all element types for all allies, and you're also going to be delaying the action of your enemy when they get this mark on them from the ultimate, making them stay in their down state after a break effect for a very freaking long time. And that is the pseudo advanced forward that Bronya would have, since they are getting thrown down to the bottom of the list depending on how her ultimate works. You are going to be getting all your teammates potentially up into the top of the list, and that's going to be a full team-wide pseudo advanced forward, rather than Bronya giving that one character the advanced forward and then, you know, they do what they need to do. And then she also gives speed in her talent, so she basically just gives the whole board of stats, and that's just absolutely crazy. You do have to notice that she doesn't give energy. That's like the only thing that she doesn't give out of every single other thing that she has. So she does give a lot of different universal stats that anyone can use, and as I said before, her being able to buff all allies and her being able to buff every unit on the team lets her able to form new teams that we haven't been able to see before, because we have been in that situation where characters like Bronya, characters like Tingyun are only able to buff up one character, and that has led us into the hyper carry meta that we see right now, with us being able to buff every character and give them every single buddy a universal buff, because these aren't like scaling dependent. This is going to help a lot of teams out. Characters like Topaz and Numby, characters like Welt, characters that deal with dot damage, these are all going to be an insane boost because we now have that AoE buffer that we didn't have before when it comes to the amount of value you get from them. Yes, we did have other characters like Yukong and then Asta and also Pella that deal AoE damage or deal AoE buffs, but they weren't as massive as what we're getting with Ruan Mei. So that is a big thing to look at. And now talking about her actual banner herself, Ruan Mei does sport an absolutely crazy of a value when it comes to the 4 stars on her banner and her herself, of course. With Ruan Mei, she is going to be coming up with Shui Yi, which is going to be our brand new unit, which is Quantum. A very big deal if you are going to be running Mono Quantum. She can do follow-up attacks, which is absolutely cracked out. And she is going to be doing some type of toughness bar damage modifier. Whoa, there's going to be a lot of really cool things when she comes out. I cannot wait to test her. But other than our brand new character Shui Yi, we also have Ting Yun on the banner, which is a very big deal. Not only are you getting Ruan Mei, you also are getting one of the better supports in the game, giving energy and giving an attack buff and a damage deal buff as well. So yeah, and especially with Eidolons, she gives speed. There's a bunch of craziness that happens with Ting Yun on the banner. So Shui Yi and Ting Yun are already a really great 4-star lineup. And then we do have March 7th. March 7th really isn't as used as most of these other characters, but with Eidolon, she can prove very useful, especially for other modes like MOC or even Simulated Universe or Storm Disaster. She can put in some work for sure. If you haven't watched our Tumble, then you can probably see why she's absolutely insane. So this banner overall just oozes with value with all the 4 stars that are on it, and also with Ruan Mei as well. We do have Blade on the same half as a rerun. Now Blade, sadly, with all the characters that were around when it comes to Silverwolf, Argenti, Kafka, Dr.Ratio, Blackswan, and Sparkle, I don't think he's making it out the water in this one. For a lot of people that do want to get Blade and do want to summon for him no matter what, just because you like the character, which is 100% fine, make sure to go watch my video talking about is he still worth it and how good he is in the meta right now, because I did make that video for y'all in purpose. So if you do want to get Blade, go ahead and watch that video because it's basically specifically made for you. But talking about Ruan Mei, talking about Blade on the same half, I do say that Ruan Mei's banner is a very big W for the value that it gives when it comes to the multi that you're going to do on the banner. Getting Shui Yi to be able to give a quantum DPS to your account, or sub DPS, which I think her role is supposed to be, and then also being able to fill in a better slot for Mono Quantum. There's a lot of really cool things that come with her. Ting Yun is a universal support. Well, not universal, but she's a very great support. And then March 7th can have her ways as well. Looking at the characters that are currently out in the game at this moment, Argenti and Silverwolf. Argenti also has lost value in terms of all the characters that are around us right now. He's still an amazing unit, does really great, amazing DPS, but when it comes to characters like Silverwolf, Ruan Mei, Sparkle, Blackswan, Kafka, he also is going to fall into the water when it comes to the value versus everyone else. Silverwolf right now is the only contender for a character that is very important to a lot of accounts. And the reason I say this is because she is your fun button. She allows you to play with whoever you want. And I do think every low spender to free-to-play player should end up picking up her eventually. You don't have to pick her up now because, of course, her banner's about to leave. Ruan Mei looks absolutely cracked and looks like an amazing investment option when it comes to hyper carry and sub DPS alike. I do think Ruan Mei is still the better pick. But for sure, if you are going to end up wanting Silverwolf eventually, or maybe you're a low spender, getting her at any time will be an amazing pickup. She will never age. She does fall off in value slightly when it comes to the meta that we're going into, which is more AoE centric and more enemies coming in and out. That does mess her up a little bit, but with you being able to play with whatever team you want, whatever character you want, this gives you more fun in what you enjoy in the game, and that's all that matters in all honesty. So Silverwolf is the only contender when it comes to the current characters that are out, and then Ruan Mei is the only contender when it comes to 1.6 first half. And then the last half, which is going to be Kafka and Dr.Ratio. We all know Dr.Ratio is going to be free, so he really doesn't matter. The 4 stars for their lineup isn't looking very great. They don't have really cool units to be able to work off of or use. So the 4 stars are a big no for both Kafka and also Dr.Ratio. Kafka, if you're looking for an enabler for dot teams, if you're looking towards to using dot teams, she will be a big pickup for sure. She is going to be one of those timeless units just like Topaz, where you're going to really want her if you're going to want to build up that team, because when more dot centered units come out, which may be Blackswan, we don't know 100%, but looking that she's Nihility, she's Wind, they're giving Kafka a rerun, there's a big chance that she might be a dot unit. And if you don't already have Kafka and you want Blackswan, you're gonna want to pick up Kafka for sure, because she enables that dot team and she just makes an amazing work of AoE and does a lot of damage with her re-triggers. And then finally going into 2.0, man, I've just been talking for a very long time because there's just so many characters coming out very soon, and it's insane how much information we do have to digest with double reruns, with the current patch, with 2.0. There's just a bunch going on at the same time, which is absolutely insane. Really good for the game, though. It causes a lot of discussion, which is really nice. But in 2.0, we are going to be getting Blackswan in the first half, and then we are getting Sparkle in the second half with Misha. Now, the only person that is of universal, like, red alert for everyone to look at is Sparkle, because that is another Harmony character coming out, and they also are in Quantum. So if you're looking towards to building your Mono Quantum team a little bit better, or seeing what she can do, maybe Sparkle might be your answer, and maybe Sparkle might be of interest to you. While for Blackswan, as I said, it looks like she might be a dot unit with the way they're having her as Wind Agility, the way Kafka is getting rerun. So if you are getting Kafka, or you already have Kafka, Blackswan is definitely going to be someone you want for sure. It's kind of a package deal. If you do want Kafka, you might want to get Blackswan. If you're looking for Blackswan, you should already have Kafka, or you should go ahead and start looking into getting Kafka. While for Ruan Mei and Sparkle, we don't know what Sparkle does, but the fact that she is Harmony is a very scary thing. Same thing that she's Quantum, which is a very crazy mono team that we have at the current moment. It's only going to boost that team even higher. So if you are someone who enjoys mono Quantum, then Sparkle is a big red alert for you to look at. Of course, we're not going to know what she's going to be doing when it comes to her kit and all that type of stuff till the second half of 1.6. So if you're looking towards Kafka and you're looking towards Dr.Ratio or like Eidolons or Lycones for him, you might want to wait to summon, because we will be in that stream. We will be getting drip marketing characters, and that's when a floodgate of information for me to cover is going to come out. So other than that, that is going to be it. I do think in priority, it might go around from Ruan Mei to possibly Silverwolf to Kafka to, I don't know. We don't know about Sparkle and Blackswan yet, so they're hard to put in the list. But for Blade and Argenti, it isn't looking that great for them. Argenti does have good 4 stars. Blade has good 4 stars. But compared to the universal value that these characters are going to bring, which it comes to buffing a team out, building a team out, or possibly enabling a team, these characters kind of don't fit in that section. Blade does get an increase from Ruan Mei, just because he is a sub DPS type character with how his kit works. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming in Honkai Star Rail, a lot of banners, a lot of information, a lot of things to talk about. So make sure to leave a sub and a like on this video if you enjoyed this video very much. I'm going to try and talk about as much things as I possibly can when it comes to all these units coming out. I'm definitely going to be making videos on Shui Yi, Ruan Mei, Dr.Ratio, Kafka again, Blade again, because we are getting a resurgence of these characters with the reruns. So make sure to leave a sub if you're excited for all that type of content. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.